Imagine, you wake up on the bus, hair a bit wet from the frosted window. You jump off the bus and run to a magical place. That was fourth grade me, racing my older sister over who would get to the TV first. We've had a lot of adventures in this magical place. This magical place was owned by my great-grandma, a very kind but fierce old lady. She's affected me greatly throughout my life as a child, through my body imagery, my self-esteem, and my health. Because of the things I did with my great-grandma growing up, I learned that being a bit weird just meant that you were you. As a kid, I did not like fancy outfits. Getting in a dress was a struggle for my poor mother, and so on days that I had to dress up, she would just leave me to my great-grandma, and she would be the one to get me in the dress. But just by telling me about how I only have to be in this dress for a specific amount of time, and would always make promises that once we're done with the event, I can just get in my PJs, we can sit down, and she'll just do my hair for me like she always does. Speaking of hair, a few of my friends know this. I had really long hair as a kid, and it became a struggle for me to properly take care of it. And so I would complain to my great-grandma about my hair, and she complained to my mom about it. Lo and behold, I got a haircut. Not to today's now short, but it was at least to my shoulders. And so I ended up being able to actually take care of my hair, and it was amazing, not actually having knots in my hair for once. As a kid, we all have our role models. My role model was my older sister, and so I did everything to try and look like her. I would curl my short little hair, and I would do one sport because she did that. I didn't have fun with it, but my great-grandma would always tell me about how I ended up looking like her as a kid. Short hair that ended up curling just a bit at the end, doing a sport that revolves around running. It made me feel good about how I looked due to the fact that my grandma was a very beautiful young lady as a kid. And so I became more comfortable with my body, and also got better with taking care of my own health. As a kid, me and my sister would stay with my grandma after school, from around 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. due to my parents' jobs. We would eat whatever they served us for dinner, which most of the time would be vegetables, or something very good, healthy, and delicious. And so I ended up learning how to actually cook these delicious meals, which I'm not allowed to make anymore. But they're very healthy food, and they tasted amazing. My grandma also owned a lot of property, and so on the nice days, she would just throw me and my older sister outside the house, and we would just run around and play. Or we would help her with her rose bush. And throughout all that, I learned that I have a very high love for nature and plants. And I also ate a lot of dirt. And as a kid who ate a lot of dirt, you would get sick a lot. And so on the days that my parents couldn't watch over me due to their own jobs, I would just be dropped off my great-grandma, and I would just sit on the couch and watch some old TV show with her. It was very nice and relaxing, and I learned to take care of my body throughout all this. As a kid, after my great-grandma did pass away, I ended up almost failing out of 6th grade due to my mental health at the time. But before my great-grandma did die, she actually helped me with all my homework, so my parents didn't have to deal with it. And throughout all that, she helped me count money too. Don't know why she did, but I learned how to actually count change, which was a very vital tool now to me. I had a very bad friend in school, and her parents were divorced. She would always tell me about how my parents would get divorced somehow. And so I would cry to my great-grandma, and she would just say the same thing to me over and over again. Your parents are too stubborn and too in love to ever get a divorce. And that's so very true. I mentioned that I've done sports, and that sport was Girls on the Run. I did not like it. I never actually was around kids a whole lot my own age, so it was awkward. And I would complain to my grandma, and she made me promise her that I would at least complete the one race that you have to do. And I did, because I made a promise, and I don't break my promises. Without my great-grandma, I'm sure I wouldn't be in this class, and I'll just be a shy little ball. My great-grandma taught me that being a bit weird was okay. She taught me how to properly take care of my body and be a lot more comfortable in my own skin. Because of her, I learned how to cook healthy meals and know when to take a break when I'm sick. And because of her, my self-esteem has gone way higher than it originally was as a kid. I'm glad I got to enjoy the large amount of time I had with her. Spend time with those you love. learn from them, so you can keep their memories alive all throughout your life.